Dear Mr. Allen, Miss Allen, I trust you're well since my last letter and sure hope the information I previously shared sparked something within you. Attention maybe, perhaps curiosity to know more, or mere interest in the life of Earthlings on planet Earth. Whatever the case, today's letter will have you even further flabbergasted when you learn the extent to which the big gun is willing and already has gone to have the rest of the Earthlings under their control. The big gun, you remember this term from the previous term, a name we gave the self-selected few that control everything and everyone on planet Earth, don't you? If you don't, now you do, or can refer from the first letter for better understanding, assuming you still have the letter. So in this letter, I plan to let you in a little on the global food agenda. But first, allow me to again welcome you to planet Earth, where fast forward after Earthlings were lured into abandoning their farming culture, living in quotes, modernized lives, where household income no longer come from farming, but other jobs and industries created literally out of thin air. Their innate need to eat to survive did not change with these changes. They still required food to function, but alas, these modernized Earthlings can no longer produce their own food, as very few still live in farmlands, let alone owning any meaningful piece of land where they can grow food organically. And so what happened? Well, welcome to planet Earth, where after successfully hooking Earthlings to modernized lifestyles, the big goon had created a massive food industry involving agriculture, meaning they now dictated or controlled how food is grown and animal products are produced. So, on the one hand, we have Earthlings who after a long day at work have money, but they cannot eat money now, can they? No, they need food. But since they abandoned their farming culture and no longer have farm produce stored in barns to last them a year or more until the next harvest, they now possess inedible money, which they are told holds specific value and can exchange it to have the food they so need. And now all these Earthlings do is work, be rewarded with some money, an amount in most cases if not all the company owner decides their labor is worth. Then the Earthlings go exchange their earnings with food. And this eternal ball has been rolling ever since. And surprisingly, these Earthlings find nothing wrong with this setup because if they did, they would stop it. But since it's a system initiated hundreds of years ago, they find it as the norm and accept this fate. I like to call it the fate of apocalypse. And on the other hand, there sits the big goon on its high, mighty seat, watching its invention unravel and roll unopposed, eternally enjoying the fruits of its self-centered labor. But so long as the big goon is happy, then the world is forced to play happy too. So, welcome to planet Earth, where its effort to keep its food agenda alive, the big goon had to plan ahead of time, if it meant upholding the sustainability of this plan. And so fast, they made land costly to a point where most Earthlings can only, if at all, afford a space enough to build a home and a green lawn. Save for those few who refused to give up their massive ancestral land, the high land prices ensured Earthlings remained dependent on the food the big goon presents. On top of that, these landowners have to pay exorbitant land taxes every year, which has seen many lose their lands to the increased joy of the big goon. Land, water, and air were freely produced and given by the planet, but the big goon found a way to influence lawmakers into taxing water and land. Heck, I'll not be surprised at all if future Earthlings will be charged for every gasp of air they breathe in and the pollution their exhale induces in the atmosphere. Oh well, welcome to planet Earth, where as the population continued to grow and demand for food increased, so did the insatiable demand for profits grow for the big goon. They realized the traditional way of farming cost a lot and so was not sustainable in the long run, as it meant spending a lot during production. But that did not mean they made no profits. They just thirsted for even greater profits from a limited land. And so they devised a way to realize this exciting dream of more profits at any cost possible. And the technology of genetically modified organisms was invented. Hurrah! The profits were now going to break the roof, making the big goon very happy. Earthlings were suspicious at first, of course. But like I told you, the big goon owns and controls everything and everyone, and it was only a matter of time before the plan went rolling. So, to convince everyone, big corporations, bodies, and organizations were brought in on this agenda. And don't forget, the big goon owns these organizations. All of a sudden, numerous researches, of course all funded by the big goon, revealed the planet is in danger from overpopulation that is fighting for finite natural resources, that is air, land, and water. It was now an emergency. Besides overpopulation, there was another fierce soul to Earthlings, the issue of global warming. Well, that's a story for another day perhaps. Somehow, the organizations presented themselves as wiser than nature, making it appear like nature does not know what it's doing, allowing all these people exist at once within a specified era, and so cannot sustain it, thus necessitating self-selected interveners to intervene lest the planet perishes. Can you believe this? Let me let you in on another revelation. The problem of overpopulation is all man-made, thanks to the big gun. But allow me not to tackle that in this letter, maybe in some other day. Welcome to planet Earth, where this maliciously invented overpopulation emergency was spread like wildfire, sold to every Earthling where possible who willingly bought it since it gave them some comfort for finally having something to blame for their unsatisfying lives. And when it comes to human and food, well, that's something that cannot be debated. Earthlings must eat. But what are they really ingesting? Forgive me, dear Miss Alien, as I have to go for now and will continue this topic in the upcoming letter, part 3. Thank you for paying attention. I hope you do reply or send me a signal of some kind to let me know you're really reading my letters. Until then, thank you for listening to me.